Welcome to Up Next, your weekly gathering for the arts, culture, theater, and shared stories. We are live on 105.1 FM. That's the TOPS Media Center of TOPS Cebu City, Philippines. The best of us. We're also live on Facebook and TikTok and available on YouTube. That's Up Next with Sarah Henderson. And today I would like us to focus on theater, teatro, and tablado. Theater begins with something very simple: a room, a gathering, a story. For thousands of years, human beings have been doing the same thing. We gather in one place, we dim the lights, and together we agree to imagine. We agree to listen. We agree for a brief moment to see the world through someone else's eyes. But theater has never been only about imagination. It has always been about reality. The stories change, the costumes change, the stages change, yet generation after generation, artists continue returning to the same question. Who has the power? Who is left behind? Who gets heard? Who gets forgotten? And what kind of world are we creating for one another? So today we continue that conversation. This is Up Next, where we meet the artists, dreamers, makers, and storytellers shaping the cultural conversations of our time. I'm Sarah Henderson, and today we welcome the creators of Ang Kawatan, director Vanessa Fe, and playwright Mavi Avila. Join us as we explore the story behind the play, the realities that inspired it, and the questions it asks of all of us. Welcome to Up Next. So before we begin our conversation today, I'd like to spend a few moments talking about something that sits at the very heart of theater: stories. Not stories as entertainment, but stories as necessity. Long before theater became an industry, before it became a profession, before tickets were sold and stages were built, human beings told stories in order to understand the world around them. Stories helped us explain our fears. Stories helped us remember. Stories helped us survive. And most importantly, stories helped us recognize one another. Every society creates stories about itself, stories about what is acceptable, what is valuable, stories about who matters, stories about who doesn't. And over time, some of these stories become so familiar that we stop questioning. We stop questioning them. We just inherit them. We repeat them. We live inside them. And that is where artists often enter the conversation. Not necessarily to provide answers, but to ask questions. Good theater has always been disruptive in that way. It interrupts certainty. It slows us down. It asks us to look again, to listen again, to reconsider. And sometimes we enter a theater believing we understand an issue completely. Then a play introduces us to a person, a circumstance, a perspective, and suddenly certainty becomes curiosity. Curiosity then becomes empathy, and empathy becomes understanding. Theater does not change society through speeches. Theater changes society through human beings, through moments of recognition, a line that refuses to leave your mind, a character who reminds you of someone you know, a situation that suddenly feels uncomfortably familiar, a truth you were not prepared to confront. And there is a reason oppressive systems throughout history have often feared artists, because art invites people to imagine alternatives. It invites people to ask, what if things do not have to remain this way? That question can be incredibly powerful, and it begins not with legislation, not with institutions, not with authority, but with imagination. Every social movement began because someone imagined a different reality. Every reform began because someone questioned the status quo. Every transformation began because people refused to accept that the current situation was inevitable. Theater creates space for those questions, not because artists possess special wisdom, but because artists are often willing to sit with uncertainty, to explore complexity, to reveal contradictions, to illuminate the parts of society we would rather ignore. But today's guests have created a play called Ang Kawatan. Now, whenever we hear a title like that, there is already an immediate reaction, a judgment, an assumption, a story we begin constructing in our minds, and that is exactly where theater becomes interesting. Theater often asks us to look beyond labels, beyond headlines, beyond easy conclusions, to examine not only individual actions, but the systems, conditions, histories, circumstances surrounding them. A play does not excuse wrongdoing. A play does not serve as a courtroom. A play serves as an invitation to understand, to ask deeper questions. And sometimes deeper questions lead us toward deeper truths. The greatest plays endure because they understand something essential about human beings, that society is never simply made of heroes and villains. It is made of people. Complicated people, contradictory people, people capable of generosity and selfishness, compassion and cruelty, hope and despair. And if theater is a mirror, then it must reflect all of it. The beautiful parts, the difficult parts, the parts we celebrate, and the parts we would rather hide. Only when we see clearly can we begin imagining change. That is why conversations like this matter. That is why artists matter. And that is why audiences matter. The work does not end when a play is written. The work does not end when actors take their bows. The work continues in the conversations that follow, in the questions that linger, in the reflections that remain. And perhaps in the actions people choose to take afterward. Today, we'll be speaking with the creatives behind Ang Kawatan, and we'll discuss where the play began, what realities shaped the story, the play itself, and what they hope audiences carry with them after the final curtain. I truly believe that the most important question is not what happens on stage. Many times, the most important question is, what happens after? Up next, Vanessa Fe and Mavi Avila.
Yay!
Yay!
Hi, Vanessa and Mavi.
Hi, Miss Sarah.
Hello, Miss Sarah. We're so glad to be here.
Well, I'm so glad that you're here because, you've been doing very important work in theater arts, in communications. And I've known you for just like over 3 years now.
Yeah,
It
3
actually
years.
feels like it's longer than that, no?
More,
Yeah.
almost 4 years. Actually.
Almost 4 years. Okay,
Officially,
sa'yo pa
4
kong
years,
math. But before we proceed, I'd like to say hi to those who are already listening in and they've left comments on our page. Yes. Hi to Rio, of course. Rio Delizo is
Hello,
Van's
Rio.
partner, I think,
Yeah.
in as a teaching
Yeah,
as a
as a
teaching
teaching
artist.
artist. Yeah.
at
Hi,
Tutencans
Rio.
Philippines.
Hey,
So, and we have Sasha Isabel
Hi,
Chong.
Sash.
So they're calling you, well, she's calling you two talented besties.
Wow.
Wait, bestie di ay ni sila?
Yes, apparently.
Apparently. So something we will be asking and you know, you can share later. And then of course, to one of your actors of Ang Kawatan, Grant Bacaltos.
Oh, hi,
Hello,
Gran.
Gran.
Yes, really the one of your biggest cheerleaders and one of our regulars here on Up Next and TMC. And of course, your directing mentor, Charlene
Oh my God.
Verlove.
Hi, Miss Char.
So yes, well, thank you so much. And for those who are listening on 105.1, this is Up Next. I'm Sarah Henderson, and we're talking about theater today, and particularly the play Ang Kawatan, which is going to be staged at the end of this month.
Yes.
So that's tarungo na to ang date. Sakto ba niya siya? June 27 and 28 at the Kabilin Center. So
Cebu.
daghan ang utana asa man ning Kabilin Center, no? The Kabilin Center is right beside Casa Gorordo. So I feel like it's really a beautiful time to go there, visit the Casa
Yeah.
Gorordo, and then watch the play after. So, of course, we are, well, I'd like to discuss about this play, Ang Kawatan. Let's start off with, well, Vanessa, you know, you have been part of our director's program at Tutencans Philippines, which started last year.
Yeah.
And now you are presenting to us the play that you're directing, Moni Ang Kawatan.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd like to start off by asking na why ang kawatan?
Why ang kawatan? It's very like for me, miss, like this moment that I'm going to like debut my play Ang Kawatan. It felt surreal because I remember last year when we were doing the workshop with Sir Herbie Go.
Yes.
I feel like I was just, attending a workshop, a 2-day workshop, and I've learned so many things up until the point that you gathered us and, have this meeting and you told us you're gonna stage your own play. You're gonna be the director. We're gonna produce this. It's gonna be a 1-year culminating series of your play. And at that time, I remember good, like I messaged Mavi immediately. I was like,
Wow.
Mav, Tutencans is gonna, di ba?
Yeah.
I feel like naapag ita sa meeting ato, miss, nag-message na dyan ko ni Maving, oh my God, Mavi.
Imo nang gikontrata?
Yeah, I was commissioned already.
Yes.
Yeah, I messaged him, oh my God, Mavi, oh my God, na ako'y project. Like, I want you to be in. Because, like, even before, miss, when we were in college, I mean, dili man kayo nga naka-close up until the very last.
Just the right amount.
Just the right amount of
Up until the
closeness.
very last. And then, we kind of shared some, some artistic creativity, like sa iyahang mga drafts and everything. And I remember, manggod na siya gipabasa na ako. And I told him, I feel like this is perfect for my debut. But I was not sure about it, miss, because it was just a rough draft. And I was like,
Yes.
I think kinahanglan pa ni siya i-kanang
I-explore
work
pa
on,
gyud.
i-explore
Work
pa
on,
gyud.
yes.
And you were asking us, miss, like, what do you want, man? Because we have a theme for the KULUKABILDO. So, mag-base daw nga to. And I think nisulti ko ninyo, miss, nga, I think I'm thinking of having this drama family, like,
Yeah.
more on, like, probinsya.
So
'Cause
lahi pa to siya
lahi
nga
pa to
idea.
siya nga idea.
no?
Because it's very close to me, drama with family. Like, oh my God, makarelate yun ko ingana. But then, as I was thinking over it, miss, because you were giving us a deadline, na dapat by this time, makathink
Yeah,
naman.
sorry, nagyo deadline.
Nagyo
no?
deadline.
Okay.
Oh my
Otherwise, basta
gosh.
next year pa niya sila mo
Yeah,
decide.
sila miss, naghatag sila deadline. And I was like, okay, na ako'y 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yes.
And sige kog think, miss, nga, oh my God, if nag-imagine na jud ko, oh my God, kung na ako'y i-present nga something, like, mutanaw akong friends, mutanaw akong family, like, of course, ganahan ko, naa sila'y bring home about theater, because most of my friends, miss, outside sa theater, they're really not into theater. They're just
They're just friends.
they're very good friends. But more like it, there is a reason why I have this community in theater because you have friends man jud for different reasons. Sa family sa nako miss, we're not really it's not accessible magud in the province sa Leyte. We don't have theater there. So
You're from Leyte. Asan
Yeah.
ni sa Leyte, Van?
sa Matalom. Basta na taga Matalom dira nag-watch.
Yes, hi to the people of Matalom.
Yeah,
Yes.
Matalom. So Matalom
Yeah.
is so
Your
even
fan base.
my fan base, which is ako mga silingan. Oh my God, I love my silingans. So kana sila is like they're not really exposed to theater. And so as I was thinking, unsa man akong ganahan i-present because kay bao naman good ko nga mananaw yun ni akong family to support me.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, thank you guys.
All the way from Leyte.
Yeah, all the way from Leyte. And I remember my mom, akong nanay, sige jud siya ask, Miss, unsa di jud ng theater? Mag-acting ra day mo ingana. And I always try to explain her na there's it's beyond that nine. Like it's really about, talking about the issues, current issues, like unsa may akong gana. It's not just about entertainment, but even if mag-explain ko, Miss, para niya mag-acting ra ang
Kaya
theater.
usahay, you have to experience it for you to
Yeah.
be able to understand.
Yeah.
But sometimes you even experience it and then you need to understand even more.
Yeah, mas
Yeah.
complicated na nun siya. So I think I need to watch more. I think nga nang experience sa
Yeah.
uban. So I think it's really coming from my personal experience sa akong family and my other friends, Miss, nga unsa kay ilang ma-experience once they are exposed to this, like sa theater. I want them to really see that theater is not just acting. Wow, it could be about something bigger. And that's why as I was collaborating with Mavi, really wanted this play to not, spoon feed people, but to really
Yeah.
make them a thinking audience. Na at the end of the play, by the time they go home, they're gonna talk about it like, unsa to na hitabo ganino? Like, weird look ito. Like, something like that. And I think, nigawa sa akong pagka-murag perfectionist, Miss, nga, no, ganahan ko nga ingani ang effect. Like, dili jud siya ingana ka-klaro, but in the middle kay, okay, magets na nila slowly. So, unsaon man na, Mavi?
Which is actually good that you have your
Yeah.
vision.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in this choice of collaborator, no? Kay mo papagani, as you said, wapagani
Yeah.
na human ang meeting.
I know.
You already contacted Mavi. But let's go back to where this started for both of you. When did this love story
I have a boyfriend.
story begin? I'm so sorry, we're talking about theater
Friendship.
No, I
love
was kidding.
stories,
That was-
ha?
I was kidding.
Kung sa man, i-hard launch na ma'am.
Already did.
Already
yeah.
did,
Nag-hard
but
lunch na
not
sila.
here.
Not here, yes.
Sige.
Well, for me, when it comes to like collaborating with Vanessa, it really pans out from college times. And actually, the same source of stage from Tooth Cans. Tooth Cans also gave me a space to write and direct my play sama sa mga duwaan ni Inday. And
Sama sa mga
Duwaan
duwaan
ni
ni
Inday.
Inday. And this was in
2022.
2022.
Yeah.
Dugay-dugay. Amo nang sakto gyud ay niingon ka nga 4
Years,
years. na.
yeah.
Yes.
And then you would be surprised who starred at that show, actually.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Kinsa na?
Wow. It's
Yes.
Vanessa, actually.
Vanessa. So
So-
Vanessa was your actor, one of you the actors
The lead,
for
actually.
She
Yeah.
was the lead
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
Yes, and you were the director
Yeah.
then.
Mm-mm.
So karon nahimo na siyang director.
Yeah.
It's her time.
And,
It's her time.
And it's your play, no?
Yeah.
Nga you've written for na according sa iyahang vision. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
so I'd like to know is it correct to say na nag-start ang inyong theater friendship during that time, 2022, KULUKABILDO. That was
Yeah.
KULUKABILDO.
Mm-mm.
And we had 8 actually short plays, no?
Yeah,
That's
a
why
lot.
in one show you have 4 plays nga gi-present.
Yeah.
Unlike this time na you only have one
Yeah.
play, and this is the a different experience. Now, so maybe I'd like to see what is that friendship? That's one like, and what is the collaboration like? Because others would say na you shouldn't really be working with your friends because it just means friendship over at the end of the project. But
I mean,
That's a good.
That's a good question, Miss.
Yeah,
And-
okay.
And
Let's
it's always been the case, right? No, don't work with your friends because otherwise it's gonna be bad. It's gonna end up a different way. But I think if you're passionate about the same thing, you're gonna find a way to make it work. And
Yeah.
that's kind of like what happened actually. We believe first in the story, and then we find a way how to better tell the story. And this process began from way back. Like we have, this is not the first rodeo, as I say, that we've done together. We've done a
Yeah.
couple of plays together, and over time, that sense of collaboration really has solidified over time, where we trust each other. We also trust each other's judgment, and even advices to how
Yeah.
a story should be told. And that also is the same thing, like what Van said earlier. It really came out as a draft based on a story I shelved out. Back then in college, while Vanessa's doing play, I'm also a writer. Vanessa's the more out there type of theater girl.
So Vanessa is more on stage.
On stage,
She's
yeah.
more
Yeah,
visible.
yeah.
She's on stage.
Uh-huh.
She's the actress.
Yeah.
She's what you can see on the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of like, I'm working on the behind the curtains, I would say. I would like, I always write, direct and produce sometimes. And so behind that scene in college, when I was a student journalist, I was able to come up onto this story, which, by the way, not very new. We all know that it's rampant across all over the Philippines. There were cases of sexual harassment. There were cases of sexual abuses all over the Philippines. And I just so happened to receive a tip at that time when I was a student journalist. I was already contributing to some local outlets in the Philippines, and I was supposed to.
Are you okay? Is it okay for you to mention the different outlets? Is that fine? No,
No,
lang?
no, yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, because it might be sensitive. But for the
Yeah.
purpose of this show, we come up as far as doing interviews already with the victims, and I would say I think that was the very challenging interviews I've done. These type of stories are actually what you can hear just by a bystander perspective. Oh, you know this is happening, but kind of like, because there's not much you can do about it, you kind of just have to, okay, I know that, but what am I gonna do with that information, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that actually remained to be the case. I have to kill the story,
Sadly.
sadly, because the victims backed out, and they're not comfortable to
Yeah.
telling their
Yes.
stories anymore.
And you respect them. Jud.
Definitely.
Yeah.
First things first. I think that must be taken all like into account
Yeah.
before everything.
And I also respect that, no, because you could have taken it also on your own and sensationalize it.
Yeah.
And that's basically what's happening, like online. People are always after virality.
Yeah.
So you come up with a story, it becomes big,
Yeah.
at the expense of
What?
other people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
True.
And you've mentioned that this is very sensitive, no? You've already mentioned sexual assault and how it's rampant and all that, and that's a reality of life. The things, most of them happen in places where there is trust, right?
Yeah.
So we haven't even started talking about ang kawatan. And naglibog sad siguro ang title na to kay ang kawatan
Kawatan.
man.
Yes.
So asa man ni padung. So maybe I'll make the question more official siguro, mas claro. So when you first conceived, when you came up with the idea nga, let's write the play Ang Kawatan, what reality or social concern were you trying to put under the spotlight?
Actually, before Ang Kawatan, Miss, wala pa siya title. Wala pa siya title?
Yeah. It started with a form first.
With the form,
Form
first.
first.
Yeah, it
Uh-uh.
started with the form, and it was just a 9 pages rough draft ni Mami.
Aha.
And even with the 9 pages, Miss, nana jud siya topic na najud siya, okay, mao din niya ato ang ganahan isulti. It's about sexual harassment. It's
Okay.
about the abuse, and it's about who gets to tell the story.
Yeah.
Now, while talking about the form, we were talking na, okay, so it's just gonna be a book launch. Like, I think we need to play around with it, Mav. Like,
So, unsa meaning book launch? I think siguro for those who have checked this out already. So there's ang Kawatan,
Yeah.
and then we've also heard about the book launch, meaning open book
with Frankie. Yeah.
Is that a different story? Of course, I know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. Is that a different story? Well, tell us about, you know, so you're saying about the forum and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that. Sige, explain daw namo. Like, I would also like to understand. I'm trying to take away anything that I know about the
Okay.
play
Yeah.
and just like explain to us, how are we marrying
Yeah.
ang Kawatan and open book
With Frankie. Okay, so ang Kawatan, it's our play. It's the title of our play. So as we were talking about the form we were coming up with an idea. Okay, is it gonna be a book lunch? Is it gonna be live? Is it gonna be in podcast? What kind of form? How do we devise this play?
Yes.
So until Mavi came up, okay, it's gonna be a book lunch. It's gonna be a live televised program.
Okay.
So
Of a book lunch.
it's like a meta play.
Yeah,
It's a-
murag ikapila man ta mo mention sa meta.
I
yes.
know, like,
I know.
I know it's insane
Yeah.
sometimes why there's too much layers, but actually it's
There is a reason for that.
Yeah.
So, Motom is like, okay, we finalized that it's gonna be a book lunch. So, in the play Ang Kawatan, it's actually set in a live televised program called Open Book with Frankie. So, Open Book with Frankie is a cultural program hosted by Frankie.
Frankie, which is kinsay atong actor ani?
Si
Attorney Lord.
Attorney
Yes.
Lawrence Latonio.
Yeah, shout out to
Hi,
you. I hope
Lord.
nag-memorize ka karon. No, we're gonna rehearse later. So
Yes.
it's hosted by Frankie, a very veteran journalist.
yeah.
But then the thing is, the television, the live show is actually facing some concerns, miss, like gamay na sila ratings
Us,
and
of course.
everything.
One of course,
Yeah.
ratings equals audience, money,
Sponsors,
and
yeah,
all that.
kana.
Yeah, so it's a
Yeah.
valid concern.
And so the producer of the show came up with an idea. Okay, I'm gonna invite someone that I know. So he invited Mateo Robles.
Who is Mateo Robles?
Mateo Robles is the one
author.
who published the book Ang Kawatan.
So, ang Kawatan is actually a
book.
A book
Yeah.
title. Yes.
Entitled
that's
Ang
also
Kawatan,
the-
title of the play.
the title of the
play.
play. Wa pa mo naglibo, guys!
Oh my
Oh my
god.
God! Yes?
And so he is the author of the book Ang Kawatan, and so he is now invited in the live televised program called Open Book with Frankie. And now the question is, what happens when this celebrated author is being asked if this story is
So basically, ato sang ibutang ang atong mga naminaw ron. No?
Yeah.
What happens during what is an open book? Siguro start ta, Ana.
Open Book with Frankie is a cultural program. So basically, it's a segment of Frankie. Maybe it's his like once a week program na he's gonna invite cultural people, like maybe people who just launched their book, or maybe people who just received an award for literature. And it just so happened that Mateo received unsa gito yung mga award, ma'am? Daghan kay siyang award.
A lot, actually.
Awardee sa siya.
Yeah,
So in
awardee
other
siya.
words, nilingig siya nga author. So we're also expecting nga kaniyang libro nga gisuwat
Yeah.
is maayo sa Diyo.
Maayo kayo, yeah.
And the characterization of Mateo himself is a very prominent writer because of this book specifically.
Yeah.
This is the first book that out of all
That took
his
off. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
took off basically. Out of all his
It's books.
creation, this is the book that took off. And so just so happened that in this invitation to an open book launch, and you know how programs, I mean, Miss Sarah, you would know this,
Yes.
how it tight it is, right? You
Yes.
have schedules, you have
So true.
So that's a question, I guess. Like when you're put at the spotlight, being able to tell the story
Yeah.
and being confronted about it.
Yeah.
What can go wrong?
Yeah.
What can be confronted, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really a choice of us, Miss, na, okay, this is the form that we're gonna do because this is the only setup, this is the only platform that Mateo can no longer, back out, can no longer fake it once, like, something happened. Because it's televised live. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the same as podcast na you can just edit. That's why there's a reason why we really put it in the show. The play is in the show.
Yeah.
That's why there is reason to it.
So well, many of the younger generation probably don't understand how it is, in TV production.
Yeah.
We usually
Okay.
we good, no? Apil ko.
Anyway, this is production. Yeah.
No, I'm saying we actually think that now it's like podcast and effect. Everything can be, it can
Digital.
be just digital. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then doesn't have to be live. Although, like right now, we're
Yeah.
live on Facebook and on TikTok.
Yeah.
So things happen, and as you said, there are things you cannot control. Like for
Yeah.
example, today while we're having this conversation live, I cannot dictate, I cannot delete, I cannot do anything to
Yeah.
whatever you're going to say to me.
Yeah.
So you've created that format,
Yeah.
ang play. So we're still talking about theater. So it's a theatrical experience, except that you're putting the audience in an area wherein they have to believe that they are part of
The show.
a TV production.
Yes.
And the TV production is Maoto, ang open book
With Frankie.
And Frankie has invited an author na mao ni ang ilang i-discuss nga book, Mateo Robles, who's just written the book Ang Kawatan,
Yeah.
which is now the title of this play, written by
Yes.
Mavi Avila
Yes.
and directed by Vanessa Fe. Wow, it sounds complicated, right?
Sounds complicated,
That's-
looks complicated, and it is complicated.
So how do you deal with you being the one who has this vision, and then you having to write it down to make sure that it is actually the play that both of you can be proud of?
Yeah.
What was the collaboration like?
I think that's also one thing that why I chose Mavi to be the writer of my next play, because I already know how we work together, how we collaborate. As he said before, the way we collaborate, we ask each other like, do you think this works? Do you think this is better? I think because we trust each other, we know that we have, although we are different in this creative aspect, like I'm an actor, he is a writer, but because we trust each other, we're on the same page, Miss, when we think about,
Wow.
we're on the same page when we think
That's
about,
great.
Yeah.
okay, I think what kind of message are we gonna tell? Same me, Miss, like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the first
Yeah.
litmus test, I would say. Like, do we want to tell the same story?
yeah,
Like,
and
how are we viewing
and I
this
think that's
story?
also the reason why we became friends.
I think so too.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause-
Why, you're on the same page?
Yeah, we're on the
Or
same
does
page.
it have to do anything with the sun and the moon?
oh my god. No,
Only
astrological aside,
we
I
are sisters.
think
You
we're
are?
we're twin
Yeah,
astrology, but
yeah.
I think not only being on the same page, right? It also goes to say that we're never really like a solid state of this identity, right? So we check on each other from time to
Yeah.
time.
True,
Do you
true.
agree with this?
True.
Sometimes it's not more of like an argument for us. It's more of like a discussion, and we arrive to a better, I would say, a better decision of how the story should be approached.
Yeah.
And that goes true with Ang Kawatan, the play, because as I pitched it to a lot of people, I think my process writing wise is having an idea first and then talking to my friends about it
Yeah.
nonstop. And just so happened, unfortunately, I'm very sorry. She's one of my
Why?
friends. So I get to talk to her
yeah.
about a lot.
There was a point, Miss, na we would talk every day. Just we were
Yes.
talking about theater, like
And we don't even have a
films.
play at that
yeah,
time.
we don't mag-talk or give me, Miss, like, unsa tong ganahan? Like, do you
Yeah.
think, like, nindot ni siya no, nga buhato nato? And it also goes before ang Kawatan, Miss. Like, that's how we really work. Like, even sa KULUKABILDO 1 with ang sama sa mga duwaan ni Inday.
Sama sa mga duwaan ni Inday.
I I was really
Yes.
shocked na, okay, so smooth to work with Mavi. And I think that's also why up until now, we're still working creatively.
Yeah.
Like after ang sama sa mga duwaan, we went to Manila and we staged a play. And
Yeah.
even after that, na nasad may caravan show, like, just how we work really matters me. So, kato imong question nga, dapat dili makig-work sa imong friends. I think the right question is, you should work with people who are on the same page as you.
And they don't have to be friends. They
They
can
don't
be
have to-
friends.
yeah.
I think what's important is like that. I think ang ako sang nakita, no, when you said we have to be on the same page. I think it's actually believing the same principles. That's
Values,
one.
definitely,
Values,
yeah.
you know, wanting to share the same message. And it looks
True.
like with this one,
Yeah.
haom yun kay mo. That's
Yeah.
why this is
Yeah.
like you're seeing how so easy it is to collaborate with each other. Another thing I also see is that because this is not business for you.
True.
This
Yeah.
is, and we cannot.
Exactly.
I also don't want to say that. Oh, it's passion. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that this is you more of answering to a calling. You know,
That's
that
true.
using what you're good at, your talents and your gifts, into like in making this world a better place. And ayaw magsulti nga nga oy ra kay paminawon because that's the truth, diba? We're
It's
here
cliche,
and we're
but, like,
supposed to
it's true.
contribute
Yeah.
to making life better,
True.
right? So karon musulti ta nga theater is, diba, like a mirror of society. It's like it's actually like presenting you with a mirror right in front of
Yeah.
your face. What do you want audiences to recognize about themselves or about the community or about Cebu
Yeah.
or the Philippines through this play?
That's a very good question, Miss, because we were talking about it before. But like, what do we want? Even with my mentor, Miss Charlene, shout out to you. I know you're watching. She really asked me like, what do you want people to bring home after your play? And that really kind of stuck with me. Like, yeah, that's true. Unsa man jud akong ganahan madala sa mga audience. And as a director, and maybe as an actor, because I was really an actor before even directing this. For me, when I act, I really wanted people not to see me as Vanessa. I really wanted them to see my character. And now as a director, Miss, when you watch our play, guys, you're gonna see there's a lot of cast ensembles.
Yeah.
But not one is the predator or the monster.
Yeah.
We don't show the
face
gruesome, the face of really what
Yeah.
is harassment. We're trying to show these ordinary people trying to like calculate their decisions, and we want them to actually see maybe themselves in each one of them. Maybe
Yeah.
makarelate sila ni Mateo. Oh my God, that's so sad.
Which is true.
Maybe makarelate
Sometimes,
sila ni Gab, or maybe makarelate sila ni Kirby, or like
Yeah.
the
So,
worst is
nanay gipang mention nga characters
Yeah,
sa
nanay gipang-
sahon.
Aha.
Who is Mateo Robles?
Robles.
Robles with an S.
Yes.
Yes.
So, who's playing Mateo?
Mateo Robles is the celebrated author to be played by Dave. What's his name?
Dave Farrell.
Dave Farrell.
Okay. Hi, Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Yeah,
Dave.
so
Yes.
so he's playing the role.
He's
of-
playing the role of Mateo, and then we
Mateo.
have Frankie, the host of the show, which is Open Book with Frankie, to be played by attorney Lord Latonio. And now we have Gab to be played by Miss Sheng
Hemperowa.
Hemperowa. And then I also mentioned Kirby earlier,
Kirby,
Yes.
yes.
which will be played by Shane Ayong. Shane
Naglibog
Ayong.
na siya kay Nay Shane nga character.
Actually, amo nang
And then
gi-change,
nasa
Miss.
Characters.
Amo nang gi-change, Miss, kaya
We had
naglibog
to
na
change
ko.
a lot of
Yeah.
things because
Yeah,
it's a cast. Like,
It's a cast, yeah.
Yeah.
So, nahimo na siya og Kirby.
Kirby.
Yes,
Yeah.
Kirby.
Actually,
And
Shane to Gab.
then-
Yeah. And then we have Patrick to be played by Grant Bacaltos.
Yay, also watching with us.
Yes.
I hope you're still watching.
If not, he'll go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have lastly Anna. To be
Yes,
played by
okay.
Judy Ralios.
Judy
Yes.
Ralios.
6 of them, no? Na-mention na ako 6.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, that sounds like a very interesting and
Mix.
such a really good
Yeah.
cast of
Yeah.
actors you
Yeah.
have there, Vanessa. So, siguro, ang ato, no, well, you have this vision,
Mm-hmm.
and that vision brought you to collaborating with Mavi.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how did you, kana siya? Siguro, ang, wait, what na human sa akong question?
Wala pa bitaw, miss.
Ako
Nag-
yung
nagkuhan pa-
giputol. I'm so sorry. Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah, mo to siya.
Balik.
Okay.
I'm like, thanks.
Take two.
Yeah, actually,
Come on.
nagtanong ko ni Mas, wala pa bang kono?
Naman to actors. Oy, okay.
So, mao to
That's not
ang-
the answer. We were just mentioning the needs
Yeah.
of the actors.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll go back to the question. What do you want audiences to recognize about themselves or their communities
Yeah.
or moto sa atong life here in the
Yeah.
Philippines?
Yeah.
No? Through this play, ang Kawatan.
Yeah, so we already mentioned the 6 characters, and these 6 characters are very different from each other. And as I was collaborating with Mavi, I was really envisioning this kind of effect, miss, na the audience will relate maybe to one of them, maybe to Gab, maybe to Kirby, maybe to Frankie, maybe to Mateo, or like, worse is to Anna. And that is something na what theater is about. Like, it has to really, even if the villain of the play, it has to represent someone man gyud. That's why they need to take care of that character. Like, for example, I'm not gonna share who's the villain, but let's say, for example, there's this character and he is the villain. I'm also gonna tell the character that you have to take care of that character because a person might relate to it.
Yes.
And in this play, this is very I wouldn't say sensitive because we need to talk about it, but this is like an important.
But we do have to carry it with sensitivity.
We have to carry it with kindness, with empathy, and as a director, I really carry it like as a baby, miss, because for me, it's also something that the harassment, to other people, abuse. It happened to some women, and it happened
Yeah,
to
it does.
to even to guys, and
Yeah.
this is like a day-to-day experience, and it's so sad na like sometimes maulaw ka mo talk about it, and that's what the play is about. Like,
Exactly.
who gets to tell that story of yours, that the survivors experience, because in this whole play, if you're still listening, guys, it's really about the narration, the power that it has, who gets to tell the story, who gets to tell your story. And going back, as giingon ni Mavi, na as he was really interviewing some of the victims, he respected the choice of the victims to not dili na lang i-pursue. And for nagkuha na ba ko? Nag-spoil na ba ko? Wala pa.
No.
It's
Wala
okay.
ra?
Well, you're
It's
not.
okay pa. You're okay pa.
Okay,
yun.
I'm okay pa. Okay, and as for Mateo, who is an author, that is the question. Like, at what point do you actually become part of the crime when you, like,
Yeah.
at what point yun? Like, is it by just, being silent? Is it just by, listening? Or is it just by talking about it to other people without that person's consent? And that's really, actually, the play has really, daghan kayo siyang themes and sub-themes na these 2 hours nga this live show is dili pa siya enough, but maugid siya ang play.
I agree. Daghan
Yeah.
kayo siya kinahanglan if you're trying to understand it. I feel also nga it's like there's a need to sit down after the play is done.
True,
And it's
yeah.
like, let's talk
Especially
about
with
it.
the
Let's
ending.
debrief.
Yeah. I mean, ako, kabaw naman ko sa ending. Like, even me, like,
Ikaw, Mav, kayo ba? Of
I read it
course.
now.
oh my, yeah, like, kuan siya, like, something jud siya nga, oh my God, heavy man day siya. Because ang Kawatan is a tragic comedy. So, it's
Yeah.
really fun. It's funny, it's comedy, but
Yeah.
after watching it, I just hope that the audience will realize na, oh my God, the comedy actually is the tragedy. Like, when people laugh, when
Yes.
them being silent about it. Because in the play Miss, I really envisioned na them being silent is actually a choice, because it is in real life.
That's true.
When you are
Uh-huh.
silent, it is your choice. And when you're an audience, feeling nimo nga, okay, gipahilom man mi, but no, I want you to actually made that choice nga ning hilom ra ka. Nga actually ning follow ra ka sa cue cards, ning katawa ra ka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
And if I may add, I agree with Vanessa.
Go ahead, Mav.
I think when we talk about theater being a mirror, that's exactly what I envision writing this script. It started first with just the 3 character. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it was
Oh my
really just
God.
3 character because it's
Yeah.
supposed to be a very short play. Well, we expanded it over time, and I think it became this whole story when it expanded. You get to have a lot of characters who are just not actively there in the story, but at the same time plays a very important role, right?
Yeah.
I think also writing this, it's not that you have a lot of questions writing this because I'm writing about this story. At the same time, I get the question: am I the right person to write about this story?
That's
True.
always
So
we always ask that,
Yeah.
right?
we always ask that, and we always ask about what type of intervention about that we can do to the victims. How can we help? We always see it as if like there's something we can do by talking, but sometimes actually
Yeah.
they're kind of like the victims. The victims are kind of victimized the second time around.
Yeah,
when
we're
we tell their
capitalizing
stories.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
That they're victimized the second time around the moment we tell it without their consent,
True.
without them actually telling their story. And obviously we can't tell the whole story, right? It's hard. And so with this play, I kind of want to give and trust the character first, and give the character a leg up to be able to tell her story. And as I mentioned to Vanessa, I always fall in love first with the character. And if I get to understand the character's motivation, that's when I know, okay, she can walk on her own. Like, what does she want? And with this Ang Kawatan, it's I'm gonna talk again with the form because it's
Yeah.
very important.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And think of it as like a mirror to the society, right? Like the form itself, we have laws, we have legislation. Think of the TV show, guys, as this very strict rule, strictly confined society as well. You have to follow time, you have to follow cue cards, you have
So
to
true.
right?
Yeah.
So
Wow. Yes.
it's that form that kind of like has specific routine in itself, right?
Yeah.
But how can you disrupt that form when the form itself actually tries to minimize the voices that actually wanted to be heard in the first place? How
Well,
can
that-
you do that?
That's amazing, Mav.
Yeah,
That's
I,
the
I want
way
to add when you said
said
that,
that.
this show kind of represent the system in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like they have to follow the rules, like the
Yeah.
cue cards. So it's kind of like the play in itself.
It's like a
It's
simulation.
it's the system that exposes,
yeah.
but actually capitalizes also.
Yeah. And
Anna,
yeah.
right?
And there's like a lot of exactly that. And there's a lot
Yeah.
of like selective format in this. Like it's a performance in itself. When you
Yeah.
think about it. There's the people watching, there's the people actually doing the show, there's the people moving the camera, there's the people handing out the cue cards.
And it is the system, it is the show that still failed the victims
yeah. So
at the end of the day.
so
Yeah.
that's but you think about it, it's a mirror. Like
Yeah.
at some point,
Yeah.
even if you're just watching, and I don't want to put them at a very like a crucifying note, right? Like, yes, we know these stories, we could advocate better, but what can we do? It's always a question. What can we do, right?
Yeah.
And I guess that's why people also ask that question and feel compelled to really do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But what I like is the fact that this could have been presented in the the usual play
Yeah.
form, and yet you've turned it into this form,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is like a live TV production. And I like the fact that you are actually, and now it's like trying to put us in this world of TV where everything is like, on time. You only have 1 hour. You can only talk for 15 minutes, or you're
Yeah.
not allowed to say anything and all that. There's all those rules. My
Yes.
God, I'm just realizing this, and it's so nice.
Me too.
actually.
No, no,
Oh my
no.
gosh.
It's so good to actually be able to talk to the playwright.
Yeah.
So Vanessa, you have this vision. You've collaborated with Mavi, and murag niha murag yun mong duha sa
Yeah.
unsa inyong gusto, which
Yeah.
which makes a great collaboration, right? Because then it's like, aside from the I'm sure you've had so many conversations, discussions, arguments at one or
Actually,
some point.
wala pag yun
Really? Wala pa?
No, I think because
Even
we're both-
just to argue about, like, a certain part that you have to edit or
Oh my God, sa
revise.
ending.
So naagad you happen
At
na.
I don't think it's.
But you don't call it argument because
yeah,
it's
I
I
know.
feel like
done with love.
I feel like-
I think so. There's a lot of patience.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
think there's.
And the way also Mavi, like, he's the writer, Monday Mama, and Miss. And then I told him, like, Mav, I want this kind of ending. And then he's gonna write it.
And
When
then
I
found out a
read
different way.
and then I read it one night. I was like, this is not what I want. And I changed it. And in my mind, I was so comfortable. And I really
Yeah,
just
yeah.
trusted you na you're gonna get what I want.
Yeah.
And so, na-shock na lang siya, miss, pagbasa niya, this is lahi naman, Van. And I told him, Mav, I need to, we were actually like,
Yes.
okay, taas na kayo mo message nga, kuan mo good, Mav, like, I don't understand, ngano inga ni man. And then,
Yeah.
musulti said siya nga, for me, Van, I feel like Anna should be but at the end of the day, it's all coming from a place of love, good, and
Yeah.
it's respect and trust. So
Communication.
communication, good, yeah.
And I don't think, Miss, like one sitting is enough to know the character. Like, and that
Yeah.
process of like discussion, rewriting it, workshopping it, that was enough time for us to really understand the story.
The story, yeah.
And why it's important that Anna does the thing she will do at that televised show.
Aha.
Because otherwise, she will never have a chance.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I feel also, Van, no, for this collaboration, there are plays that are already written, and you have to pick it up, and you
Yeah,
have to
stick
follow
with
how.
it, yeah.
You stick to it because that's
Yeah.
the play. But what you've chosen is a different
Yeah.
Approach.
which allowed you to actually direct or agree with the playwright such a way that it fulfills your vision.
Yeah, which is like a blessing, yun siya, miss. I feel like every director would actually want this kind of flexibility, but sometimes magyud, as you said, miss, nga, when they pick a script, they have to stick with it because they have to respect the writer. But in my
Yes.
case, I'm super blessed and lucky na I get to work with my best friend because then like he gets to know why I want this, and he kind of like make it work nga. O, sige. Like, okay. As long as same gihapon ta ha. So,
Yeah.
it's working. And whenever, like, I find it, alam mo, dili na siya mo work, ani. And then, iya kong tabangan nga, okay, let's do this. Let's do
Yeah.
this. Let's remedy it with this and that. And also with Miss Charlene, like, dako kay tabang si Miss
Yeah.
Charlene, Jud, with really
Props si Miss Charlene.
aligning our story and really asking the questions, the right
right
questions, na feeling na mo, na amis sa eskwelahan pa, na Miss UP. Pagkita na mo sa comments, we were like, oh my God.
No, I think it's always
But it's
important.
but
It's always
actually when
important.
we read it, we were like, makes sense.
That
like,
makes sense.
Yeah, and it really helped us. I know it helped also you, ma'am.
Yeah, definitely. That's why, like I mentioned earlier, when I workshop a script, I start with an idea and ask around all of my friends. They would know that okay, I start with an idea first. What if this happened to a certain character and she reacted this way?
Yes.
And that's kind of like the thing I got from Micheline's feedback.
Yeah.
And some parts I agree definitely that I'm not gonna spoil anything, but why Anna has to do one thing.
Yeah.
So, and why she has to be given a certain time.
Yeah,
to
I
do
agree.
that, to do what she has to do. in the
Yeah.
play. So, and with us and Vanessa coming up to that story and what to tell, I think there's also that part, right? Like that's doing the play. That's exactly the message what we want to tell, and it's not just taking it as face value, and you allow your audience to develop the sense of critical thinking. Why certain events unfolded the way they do, because for us and Vanessa, for me and Vanessa, it's a lot of negotiation.
Yeah.
It's a lot of negotiation. Like it's like writing a play itself. It's a contested space, I would say, that you assert patiently, lovingly, I would say.
Yeah.
You assert that this story must be told. Otherwise, there can never be a chance to tell the story.
So my question to that then is, why did this particular story feel necessary to tell now?
Yeah. I mean, going back, it started, diba, 3 years ago,
Yeah.
as the like your story.
That's
like,
what Miss Sarah said. It's actually 4 years ago.
4 years ago. And then,
Years.
but
Yes.
why now? And
Yes.
I feel like for
And
me,
why
Miss,
is it important nga we tell it now?
yeah. I mean, this story is not new naman, good Miss. Like, that's the thing.
I
Like, we could have
agree.
staged it 2 years ago. We could have staged it last year, but why now? And that's why, Miss, like, going back again to my values, like, I have this opportunity and Tutin Cans is giving me this opportunity. Now, how am I gonna give it back to the people who actually have experienced it? I don't just want to stage a play that's, something na I like, because I love rom-com. If kung pwede pa lang yun, ganahan yun ko mag-stage o rom-com. But for me, like, at this point, there is no really because diba na si Mavi nga, he respected the victims. Okay, maybe that was not the perfect time, but for me now, there's no perfect time. There's no safe time. Like, we need to do this now. Like, I have this opportunity and I have you as my writer and I have the support from Tutin Cans, and like, okay, let's do it. And I think I'm also coming from this community also, Miss, na I'm very supported with my closest friends, with my theater community. I'm really supported with my vision, and that's really important when you present something to the audience, to the masses, that you are supported with the same people, that like-minded people, because then you get to know na, okay, I'm in the right hands, like I know I'm doing right. And that's really also my advocacy na, as I get older, I really want to do things that's just not for face value. I don't want to do for tickets or like for money, maybe for money. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to do this because I owe it to the people, to those people who have experienced this. And I hope that I get to give this worldview to those
Yeah.
people who don't understand it, because as you said sa imong monologue, Miss, na theater really,
My monologue.
yeah, you're very
Theater.
That's theater itself.
That's very
that's theater.
theatrical.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
very theatrical. I love it, Miss. As you said sa imong monologue na, theater gives this effect to people to give empathy, and then empathy would make them to understand the view, the things that are happening in this world. That's why theater is really important, because they get to see a reflection of our society right now, maybe not in their face, but a moment, a glimpse of it na, oh my God, nakarelate ko ato nga part.
Yeah.
Shucks.
Yeah.
Di man jud sila makarelate sa whole 1 hour, for sure. Like, that's my experience. Di man jud ko makarelate sa tibok. Naara jud certain moments nga maigo ko, and then I get to keep it along my life. Maskin pag mukaon ko, maligo ko, I get to like think of it over and over again. And that's really what my motivation is. I just hope na in every scene makarelate sila, na sila certain moments na they would say, okay, kasabot na ko. Yeah.
Understand ka na,
Yeah.
no? You mentioned moment. It can now.
Yeah.
Dili ka makarelate sa tibuok. And that's true, because it also depends where we are at the moment.
Yeah,
unsa
true.
unsa
Where you're
atong
coming
gitaagian,
from.
and all. But that moment can be very powerful.
Yeah.
Sometimes
It's
it's
important.
not a moment, but a character, an
Yeah.
entire character from beginning to end. Sometimes even just a line,
A
and all of a
line.
sudden it's
It
like,
will lead you to curiosity. Like, oh my God. And then mag-think ka per me. And then sigog think, ano yung nga ito man ito nahitabo? Like, why does it bother me? Ngano, why? And that's also the reason why we wanted the ending. Like, dito mi nag-agree ni Mavi nga, okay, the ending is nga ni, sakto si Miss Char. Okay, dapat din yung ending. Because
Credits to Miss Char.
Credits to Miss Char na,
Yeah.
okay, makes sense nga yung ending. Because maybe like, funny kami mag-story, miss kay ambitious kami like dapat ingani ang kono.
Which is good.
Which is
Diba?
good. That's why ma-enjoy.
That's part of the creative process.
I know,
It is,
like
it
kana
is.
mag-talk me miss, let's say sometimes sa taxi. I feel like ang taxi driver kay na-enjoy na gyud na ni dagan. What if like
Waka
ingani
kay
na
ba,
yan?
nag-take na to siya notes.
Notes.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh
So
my
to you
God.
taxi driver basta naminaw
To you,
karon.
taxi driver.
Probably right now.
No.
If I can add, I think the question, why now, right?
Yes, why now?
Yeah.
I think
Or why is it important? Kani, or even the term necessary now.
Great.
Oo.
I think because it's the problem with I'm gonna be a bit critical lang.
Yes.
If you allow me. The
I am
prob-
allowing you to ask permission.
I feel so honored. But with asking now, it's kind of like discrediting what happened in the past, right?
Uh-huh.
Like,
True.
why now? Why not during the past? I think we always have to tell the story because the type of culture still
Continuously.
exists.
Yeah.
So long
true.
as it exists,
Mhm.
you can never.
Yeah.
For me as a writer, I can never stop talking about it,
Yeah.
writing about it, because it's still there. Like there's people living that experience,
Yeah.
and as romantic as we are sometimes as writer, you think you can definitely have some impact, and you do actually to change the world. You kind of have to write it from time to time
Yeah.
to be able to do that. And I agree with Vanessa. It's those moments. It's those lines. With you, Miss Sarah. It's those characters, right? And that's the kind of like the impact of theater, that it should be part of our lives, right?
Yeah.
It mirrors our lives, because if we're to live a life that's just the daily lives that we have, it can never be. It's routine, right? It's routine.
Yeah.
But we capture those moments through theater, and by capturing those moments, those we feel like those are like just the mundane moments, right? Like simple ra kayo ang gisulti niya sa usa ka character in a film, but why does it hit us? Because we're able to sit down, like what you said. We're able to sit down, pay attention, listen, and actually simmer what the character said. And there's a lot of things that are said that we can't just hear because we're doing something else. The theater, and why it's important to be told in a form of theater, it's because it has to happen intimately. It has to happen where you're opening your ears, eyes even, to actually listen profusely, that you allow yourself to hear the characters themselves and understand where they're coming from. I think that's why it has to be told now.
I agree. And you know, for those who cannot understand how theater works, no, kay kanila gi ang uban, not because it's their fault. It's just that they're unable to connect because of the lack of experience, meaning they haven't watched a show,
Yeah.
or it's just that
Inaccessibility,
the exposure
Yeah.
as well. But you know, theater is just like any other form of communication, and the focus is really the message. And so when we produce a play, when we perform on stage, we are focused on the message that that story wants to tell,
Yeah.
right? And to share to the world. Now, I also feel nga it makes it so different in terms of an experience is because it's live and you're sitting
Yeah.
there and you start to think that you're actually just watching this story, listening to these stories, and you're detached from it.
Yeah.
That's your first
Instinct.
expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you're just
Yeah.
expecting I'm just gonna watch people performing. That's it. And then you start to feel emotions, right?
Yeah.
Why am I crying? Why am I
Yeah.
laughing? Why am I having fun? And you're not. It's not like that's just gonna happen if you're not affected. Even the fact when you're irritated or you hate it, that's an
Character.
effect,
True.
Yeah.
right?
True.
And again, mubalit yun ko anang I don't believe that when there's a play, everyone loves it if it's a really good play. I don't agree to that because there will always be someone who will be against the play because of their personal experiences.
Yeah.
And so kani importante yun na nga kanang ang experience sa theater, no? And that's why it's important that we choose the right material
Yeah.
for me. And mo nang mangutana sad ko nganong now, why is it necessary? So I also try to help me out. I'm going to mention a few things that I consider as the themes for this play. First, you've mentioned sexual assault or harassment.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, Mavi, kanina, culture.
Yeah.
Ang kultura, lisod na kaayo ba yan na iusab, no? Kultura, good. It's not just an incident. It means it's been happening generation after generation. It's somewhat accepted in a way.
Yeah.
If it's not accepted, it's just continues to happen, tolerated, or people just feel like they do not have the power to change it.
Because it's part of the system. No? Like
Because those who try and fight will always have to face the consequence of being put in a tough situation.
Yeah.
But actually, miss, like them being silent about it is what enables it. Like,
So true.
yeah, so I think
Yeah.
that's mao na ang among gitry o kana bitang impart sa
Question.
people ba nga they're just sitting, but they're actually contributing to it.
Yeah.
Them
Kana.
being silent about it, them clapping to it,
Yes.
them laughing to it. That's why it's a tragic comedy, because then they're gonna realize na them participating, all of it is actually them confronting also themselves na maybe something also happened in the past and they were also silent about it. Or,
But if you also go back, Van, to like, let's go online, you know, social media and
Yeah.
all that. There are so many bullying, abuses,
Yeah.
you know, like the language that we put, where
Yeah.
people think they're allowed to put online against victims or against people who share stories that are in Ani.
yeah, it's the
Look
same
how
thing.
we deal with them.
Yeah, I know.
True.
It's
One person starts to attack someone, someone
it's never ending.
It's
diba,
never- yeah.
rides on it, and it becomes louder. And you know what's hard and hard to accept and sad reality for all of us is that usually the loudest are those who unsaon man nato pag sultiron. The loudest are those who really think they're right,
yeah.
but then they're not.
Yeah.
Same with Mateo, miss. Like, he
Yeah.
is the one celebrated when he's actually just using someone else's story and not the other person around. Like,
Yeah.
di ba murag very dystopian? Like, gano'n siya yung nakadawat sa award? Nga di ba na iyang story? And it's the same thing also with online, miss. Like, it's more about kinsa may makagat og daghang likes, kinsa may daghang makagat og
Yeah.
attractions. Dili na siya about unsay tinuod. Dili na gyud siya ing ana. And so ang among play gyud siya, miss, no, kay mo mirror gyud siya in every like different aspects gyud. Dili ra siya sa
Yeah.
sexual harassments, but even in bullying, like even
So
in
true.
like, yeah, ma-apply jud siya nimo tanan.
And
Yeah.
you mentioned, di ba, with Mateo as the author here in the story, or the author of the book, ang Kawatan, in the story, in the play, ang Kawatan. And you've mentioned about like it's his story or whatever. We're also dealing about consent. So also in different ways, different
Context.
meaning
Yeah.
and context of consent. So you, for Mavi, you were supposedly writing this material before years ago, which
Yeah.
was assigned to you, I understand,
Yes.
and having to deal with individuals who had to share their story. Very sensitive, considered sensitive na topic because of, again, it's about sexual assault and other related stuff. But the moment they said no, we're not going to share this anymore, you actually had to stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Diba?
I think from then on, when you're a journalist, you have to. Like, when you're a real, I would say, journalist, you really have to. Yeah.
Yes, thanks for adding the word real.
Oh my god.
Because we go by ethics. We go
Yes.
by ethics. So,
I understand.
So-
Yeah, and that's why the term journalists should be really used with respect.
yeah.
You know, and kana dapat mo respetar gyud ta sa
Yeah.
journalist. Kay kana, I think that's also a difficult decision in a way, especially after having listened to everything that's been shared with you and knowing that possibly by sharing it to the world, you have the power to make big change.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm.
But again, muna, murag naangan ha ang consent pa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No? Like, asa man sa takot.
Asa
Asa
taman.
tamo, asa
At what
tataman mo
point
think.
good?
But
Yeah.
the thing is, ang story ni Mateo had nothing to do with wanting to help and create change.
No.
Had nothing to do with it. A
Yeah.
lot of it is selfishness. Just
Yeah.
wanting, mao nang nakadaog yun siya, kay ang iyang after is really glory,
Yeah.
right? And so I believe if you really want that and you go selfish and you don't care about what other people think or how it's going to affect people concerned, you're going to get what you want. And
Yeah.
what he wanted was
Yeah.
to use the story for his own benefit. That's
Yeah.
what happened.
And if I were to add, Miss, like not just Mateo, but maybe also the other characters, like we
Of
don't know.
course.
It's for
Yeah.
you to watch the play, but
But
Yeah.
you dropped a hint kanina. You mentioned that it's a failing
System.
it's a failing
Cultural
show.
show.
Oh my God! Oh
You
yeah,
did because
yeah.
you said the
Oh my
ratings are
gosh.
down. So
Yeah.
unsaon na to pagsaka sa ratings.
Yeah.
So mura sad yun unsaon na to pagsaka sa views.
Yeah.
Unsaon na to
yeah.
nga mo daghan nga inana, di ba?
It's really just ordinary people should miss nga ning make rag ingani nga decision, but it could actually affect sa
Yeah.
mga victims. And
kana grabe no. So
Kana,
so we're talking about their consent in different contexts.
Yeah.
Of course, consent in general pangayoon yun na siya.
yeah.
No? Dili na siya nga kanang na entitled na ta kay
Yeah.
tungod kinsa ka, amigo,
True.
uyab, asawa
True.
nga. Okay ra lagi na.
Mm-mm.
No? So I think that we also need to learn a lot about the word consent. Dili ra ni
Exactly.
siya para sa kanang it's not just for sex.
Paper. Yeah.
It's there's a lot of things that require consent.
Yeah, even in friendships, diba?
Yeah.
I ask
Yes.
for your Mav, can I rewrite this, please? And I was like, okay.
So kana importante gyud kaayo
True.
siya, no? So murag kani lawom sa ni siya na conversation, but I also want to take advantage of this time, especially with the choice of material ba,
Yeah.
no? And as artists, kanang do you feel a responsibility to respond to what is happening around you,
Mm-hmm.
Good question.
or is it simply a natural consequence of creating honest work?
Creating honest work. I feel like it's you mentioned earlier, Miss, na like is it because like it's also a calling for an artist to actually respond to what's happening
Yeah,
in the
yes.
society, or katong giingon nga it's an honest work? I think it's both.
Yeah.
I
was
think
about to
it's
say that.
both because
Mm-hmm.
for me, like as an actor, maybe when I was young, Miss, I don't really.
Hayang paghihapon ka
Yeah,
dyan.
like
Ayaw
maybe
ko
around like
na.
19, 18, whenever I act or like
Yes.
sa among org before. Of course, sa UP we always have like
So back in college.
Yeah, back in college we always talk about what's happening in the society. It's not really new to me. Now when we stage a play, okay, it's about what's happening in the society. Like we want people to actually be aware of that. But now that as I get to experience life, it's not anymore about me like acting, and I want you guys to see me acting because we're actually talking about social change and da 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 da. But it's more of now that I'm directing, I really wanted people to focus on what's happening, like the play in itself, and not think about the cast even.
Yeah.
But actually think of themselves, like the audience. I
Yeah.
don't want them to focus on who's playing, who's directing. I want them to actually ask themselves, like, oh my God, why am I feeling this way? And I think na nakuing ana nga point nga, it's also for me like it's an honest nga ganahan ko inga na ilang ma-feel nga di ko like I don't know how to put it in words, but I think like I've come to a maturity na sa akong
I was
creativity
gonna
na.
say, oh, that's growth.
That's growth, should miss.
I
'Cause
think the shifting
Yeah.
also from the role of an actor to
Actor,
director.
yeah, I get
now
yeah.
taking control of how the story flows.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, whenever I talk with like my team, like I talk with them the things nga among naagian karon, like nag-struggle me with this, and then I realized, oh my God, being a director is really like tough work. And I already told him
So
nga-
true.
And I told
Yes.
him na, oh my God, ngano ako ra take for granted ang mga times nga actor ko. Because
Uh-huh.
it's
It's a
so,
different animal.
it's a
Yeah.
different challenge. Like for me, oh my God, mag-memorize naman day ko yung actor niya, mag-ani-ani ra ko. Karon ka, I have to really, sometimes miss mura na kong ma-passion. Ing-ani akong na-feel like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then whenever I catch myself being passionate about it, like I can see myself growing into this creative na I'm not thinking about my art or my work. I'm thinking about the effects to it to other people na. Like I'm thinking
Yeah.
na unsay ma-feel sa mga audience after that. I don't even want to like have a recognition kay for me, like no, like this is not something na to be kind of bang to be praised of. It's actually something that we want to talk about. That's why it's KULUKABILDO and conversations to people na unsa imo na reflect nga to nga play. And right now I'm so glad na we got to stage this very important, very
Yeah.
nindot kay nga material, of course, written by
No, no,
Mavi.
I'm not even saying wow. You know why I said wow? For
Sige,
the,
explain.
I don't want to seem like I'm a Leo and so
Niwaw ka,
conceited.
niwaw ka.
I said wow because I was,
No, because you also said nga, Van, hindot ka to.
no. I feel like I have this kind of like,
Just admit it. Like,
I mean-
yeah, nindot man gyud ato ang material.
Naglalis pa sila, pero they
Right.
both agree that it's a good material.
It's
Yeah,
a good
And I do
material.
agree. That's why Tutankam's is backing this under KULUKABILDO, no? KULUKABILDO is a monthly series, a monthly theater series. So you're going to be able to watch plays their original. As we mentioned, this is the first time that we're going to see this on stage.
Yeah.
this is the first time.
Yes.
And I think I have to say this.
Say
that
it!
This is I would say the right stage.
Oh.
It's the right stage. And I was being very emotional watching Vanessa tell about being a director because I think I was also at the same state. That's why I said wow. Because I was at the same state when I was
You're seeing yourself.
at the director in 2022. So it was like, oh wow, it made me a bit teary-eyed right now because actually you have a very, I would stick, not even just sticking to material, understanding the story of the material, right?
Yes.
For me, you have to protect the lines that were told. You have to protect the
True.
stories that were told. Hence why when you said you were so passionate, I remember myself being the same way.
Yeah.
So, no, this is the kind of like the
Yeah,
delivery
yeah.
because you see, this is so it's looking at the story.
Uh-huh.
And I want to go to your first question, Miss Sarah. You can't help, for me at least, this is my view. I'm a writer, I'm a journalist. You can't help but when you do honest and good work, you can't help but in a way contribute to social change when you do honest and good work. So it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. They can do both at the same time. That's why I agree with you the first time you said it, because like, what's a good story anyway? And
So
what,
true.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what- and
And
what-
who's to say?
Yeah.
And I think Mona siguro one of the things also no for us with KULUKABILDO. So those who are still unaware unsay meaning sa KULUKABILDO, it's Bisaya nga word saying casual conversations, a
Yeah.
discussion, an exchange. So with KULUKABILDO, although we added a theme which was to direct light to unsaman,
yeah.
it's still very open because we
Yeah.
also want to give our directors that free a bit of freedom in choosing their material. It's just that we want to make sure that it's something that actually kana mo highlight siya something important, no?
Yeah.
Because of course kita sa Tutankam's we always believe that we entertain, educate, empower. Mo stick
Yeah.
yun ta, ana. So all the materials that we present has to they have to follow that.
Check the boxes.
Kana dapat yun. Kana siya. So but you know, as you said, it's like it's growth, no?
Yeah.
You looking beyond yourself, beyond even your own team, your own cast, creatives and crew, and now looking at how this will affect your audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of audience, like to say hi to Benjan.
Hi,
Benjen.
Benjen.
Hi, Benjan and Kay
Hi,
Suarez.
Kay.
So, Benjan, you and Kay Suarez, thank you for listening. And then, nananghid ang imong partner. Mag-meeting pa daw siya. For those of you who have been in and out of listening this conversation, you can actually catch us on YouTube forever.
Forever.
There. Just look for Tops Media Center on YouTube and find all of our conversations of Up Next
Yeah.
there. No?
Mhm.
So, grabe sa niya mong conversation, Ron. Because, of course, you're with theater people who really believe in doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
The visions that they have, not just for the play, but for the people who will be experiencing the play. We say experience because it's not just watching.
Yeah.
Diba? You leave and you ask questions. Usually that's what happens. Well, that's
Yeah.
what happens to me when I leave. You don't really remember na, ay, ni katawa ko ani nga line.
You do debriefing
ni,
after,
diba?
like-
Yeah.
It's not. It's more like, nganong ni
Ano,
inato man ko
yeah,
siya.
yeah.
Nganong inani man nga line ang
Yeah,
gipili
yeah,
sa,
yeah.
sa playwright.
Mhm.
No? Nganong inani ang reaction ani niya nga actor. Was that
Intentional?
Yeah, was that intentional? Or sakto, usahay gani mo asta ba nga? Sakto akong
Pag-interpreting.
pag-interpret.
Yeah, oo.
Diba? Like,
Yeah.
usahay, we overthink. We like overthinking because we think there's a right answer to everything.
Yeah. And that in itself, I think it's like a good way, a response when you finish watching a play. You develop this, like through to KULUKABILDO, informal
Yeah.
exchange.
Mhm.
You question why did a specific play made me feel this way?
Yeah.
And you get to confront yourself. Maybe there's something there to be confronted. Like at least with ang Kawatan, that's kind of like our
Yeah.
intention
Yes.
to confront why we have this obviously human tendencies to be silent,
Yeah.
to say ay na lang pagkapila-pila na it's gonna be too complicated.
True.
And you get to also ask, why am I being so pressed about it? Why do I care so much? Right? So
Yeah.
those are I would say, all of the right questions you get to ask when you watch
Yeah.
ang Kawatan. And I think going back, I think that's the goal for me as a writer.
Yeah.
For them to ask themselves questions.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
yeah.
maybe miss like for us like in this community like we get to be overthinker like nga na inga- like whenever we watch something like we watch a
For
play
everything anyway, not just for plays.
not just for, but like specifically for plays like for example whenever I watch a play or watch a movie watch a film nga pareho may gitan-aw we would talk about it nga na inga tong kinahanglan oh my god connected siya ingani
Yeah.
grabe kwanto foreshadowing siya ingani kay buka nga nung nga line ingani yung gisulti
Passionate kayo pagka-exchange.
grabe siya. But for this play, miss, for me, like as a director, I also kind of make it into account and make it into an account na we have new audiences and we wanted to cater that also nga. That's why ang paggama na mo sa script has to be intentional but at the
Yeah.
same time easy to digest for the new audiences. But it's not too easy for the theater goer mga people
Yeah.
nga okay makainggam sila nga nice
Yeah.
something like that because I really know nga my friends would watch it and di ko ganahan nga muras lang unsa din nahitabo like
Yeah.
ganang kog something mis like day nakasabot ko inga nga part nga I feel like wow at least like they get to understand a moment of it or maybe they get to reflect something about it from themselves and kana lang like sometimes magud kay mapassionate kay ko nga okay ganang ko ingani and then di na siya mo translate sa new audiences maybe kung kita mag-talk miss like ita sa
Yeah.
oh my god yeah mo make sense siya
Kuanta, mas exposed ta to theater.
yeah
no,
yeah
and we're doing
kana
theater.
but that is something also na we're trying to kana bitong push to diri sa Cebu na to have like theater accessible to everyone and that's why like Tutin Cans is really doing a great job yeah really a great job because we're doing this like monthly like it's something na nga, people would look for nga, oh my God, kung ano ron, sa man ron, July, so for sure na play ang Tutin Cans. It's something
June
na,
sa. So this June, it's ang
this June,
Kawatan.
this June sa
Three performances.
June 27
Yeah.
to 28. So like, nindot ra kayo siya, for me lang, as a theater goer, nindot kayo siya nga, oh my God, nakoy tan-awon. And it's not just like a play, it's an original, and it's a play with an advocacy, with something that they could, bring home as they watch it after.
So you mentioned about new audiences. So when we say new audiences, I'm thinking na you mean siguro kanang wala pa, like first time ni nila watch, because it's possible, diba?
Yeah.
Your play could be someone's first
First
theater
experience.
Can
Yeah.
you imagine?
Yeah. What an honor, if ever.
Yeah. So, nakoy duha ka questions, Annie. First is, what theater experience did you have that probably connected to how you choose the place that you write and or the place that you perform in? And then second, for our new audiences, what do you wish for them? Emotions or understanding?
Wow.
Okay, so for your first question, Miss, like, what are the plays that kind of made an impact to me? I think I would go back jud pagkabata pa nako, Miss. And
Okay.
it's always gonna be the TV. Because we only have TV back then, and mutan ang big salita, like, is-CD pa siya. And I
Oh,
remember,
okay.
like,
CD na, CD.
CD siya. And I remember magborrow pa mi nga na, Miss, like, i-rent pa na siya.
Yes. Okay.
And dili pa jud sa among TV, Miss. Mato pa jud Miss among sit. So, borrow mig CD, then mato pa jud Miss among silingan para i-play siya.
Wow.
And I remember I would watch Barbie. Tanan Barbie.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Barbie. And maybe me as a child, it kind of gave me comfort, Miss, nga, oh my God, I could live that kind of life ba? Like, even if I know, like, it's very different, it's very cartoonish, but the effect, man good, Miss, of, kind of magkanta-kanta ang mga Barbie, makita sila silang Prince Charming, it kind of inspired me na, oh my God, I could have that life maybe when I grow up. Maybe when, there's always this hope, man good, ang movie or ang film nga mahatag sa usa ka tawo, Miss. And for me as a child, maunay nakagive na kog inspiration why I wanted to act, because whenever unsay line sa Barbie, ako siyang buhat-buhaton sa balay. And then one
yes.
akong nanay, ganahan gyud ka mag-acting no nya. Wala mo gyud acting sa amo, Miss. So ang buhaton na sa akong nanay kay whenever there's birthday or na family gatherings, okay, present. So mo na akong wala akong time nga mo-present, magkanta-kanta ko, like para lang gyud malingawan tanan. And now growing up, like, okay, ganahan gid ko mo apil og theater, like I really want to perform, like I just feel like kaibaw jud ko ingani, and I feel like kaibaw gyud po ko sa akong craft. And now that I get to have this opportunity to stage a play, different na siya, Miss, og approach from before. Maybe mo anak ko sa una nga, okay, ganahan ko ako ang tan-awon sa audience, kaya ako ang
yes.
performer. But now, what I wanted is actually the effect yun. The effect of unsa ilang ma-feel sa story, unsa ilang ma-feel afterwards towards themselves. Because it's all about their personal experience, mag yun, Miss. I'm just trying to create an overlapping experience with them. Kung asa ra may magtagbo, dira ra pud sila makarelate. And we're trying to cater that in this play, ang Kawatan, nga in each character somehow na maigo sila, and really hope nga I get to do that as a
That sounds very poetic when you said, kung asa mi magtagbo.
tagbo. Yeah. Kung asa, yeah.
Meaning the director or the
Yes.
creator and then the audience.
Yeah, the audience.
But you mentioned how they feel. So are you saying that for you, if you were to choose between emotions and understanding, you wish for your new audience to feel?
Because I feel like if may emotions, Miss, it's more of short lang siya, like okay, I feel happy, but then after that unsa man. But when they feel something magud, it could be like a feel of alam mo lagi ni siya og kanang feeling nako ni katong pagkabata nako. This brings me back to when I was in, let's say, in the province. This makes me feel like katong na in love ko. It's about an experience man, Miss, but kung may ka emotions, like it's very short ra, like okay, haha, nakatawa ka, okay, nakahilak ka, but dili siya mo impart kaayo nimo. So that's why it's important for me to have this kanang itong feeling of them nga maka-bring back og something, miss, nga okay, makakita sila ni, oh my God, nahitabo ni. Oh my God. And kana, ilan na nang madala, miss, nga, kay Bo, ka nakarelate ko ato nga scene, katujud nga specific scene, kaya nahitabo ni nako sa una.
So it's more of like memory.
Yeah,
Or
memory
sense
feeling. Yeah.
even, no, rather than just the emotion, because as
Yeah.
you said, emotions are fleeting,
Yeah.
no? And well, we should say hi first before we continue. Francine Marie.
Oh my God! Hi,
Hi.
Francine!
She's saying Van Ma forever.
That's kind of like our
Is it-
screen name when we
when you collaborate.
no,
No?
when we
As a
mess
performer.
around.
Oh.
When we mess around. Here's the thing.
Is that
So-
like a love team?
No!
It's like a band name.
It's a,
A
band,
band
name.
name.
So, actually, na-create na siya. Sige, segue lang may mga
Yes.
kanha listeners and
2
watchers.
minutes, a segue. Let's
Segue,
do it.
yeah. So, basically, miss, na-create ng van makay, nangatumig handuraw, manada
Yeah,
handuraw.
Uh-huh.
And then, amo gud may tendency ni Mavi nga, sige, like, ang
Let's
social
perform.
anxiety, miss, kay mahadlok yun na mo, kay di gud may mauwa ba sa
Uh-huh.
kami doon mag-uban. So, basically, na-open mic ni After Mix Stage, nagganta mi,
We
miss,
were
like,
singing.
and then, na-ay audience, miss, abi gud nila gi-hire me para manganta.
Nga
To the-
naman, wala mo ni Hunong?
Wala
We
naman
did it.
minihunong, miss.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then, ang pinaka-funny, miss, kay after ni Dool siya, niya na tong namino na mo, nindot mo nga banda, pero ayaw siya sa pawi, kumukanta siya.
Oh my God.
It's like we're competing
Uh-huh.
when we're dancing or
No, because they
singing.
actually thought na
We're
performer jud ta. Like,
Nakailad sila. Si
Yeah.
Van Ma.
Van Ma,
Okay.
Vanessa and
But I
Mother.
don't think, but I think he's being too kind, miss.
He's being too
Uh-huh.
kind, yeah.
Yeah.
Concerned kay siya sa among career.
Yeah.
I think.
But no, wait. Me mention sa ta. Francine, is this Francine Marie? Is this your member of your team?
Yeah, si Francine.
Okay, di ba good makita ang noun ba? So Francine is actually
The production design of our play.
Oh.
She's the PD. So, we are working with Francine sa among set, which is currently amo pang isabit ni Miss. Kana. And yeah, we also have marketing, si Ishi Faith Hugo. Hi, kay ba ako nag-work karon. And then, I have my SM, si Regina Velasquez.
So you're oh my God.
What's her
Regina
Vinuesa.
Vinuesa.
Okay, so you have Francine, Ishi, and Regina
Gina,
and
and-
your team.
Yeah. And then my
Yeah.
writer is Maverick Avila.
Maverick yun ni siya,
Maverick,
but we call
yun-
him
Miss,
Mavi.
dapat
Dapat
Maverick.
Or no, either correct.
What's your choice?
No, either well, formally
You prefer the Maverick.
No, either is okay. Like
Okay,
you give it as
either Avila.
Right. Oh my
Either
God.
Avila.
You're so
Smart.
I
Either
cannot
Avila.
But that's a good name, right? Either.
Either Avila.
Yeah, it actually
Either.
sounds
Hey,
nice.
either.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Either.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my God.
sounds so gender neutral.
I agree.
No.
Pero naipangutanang dako si Benjun Yu.
Wow.
What's a CD? Paghilong
my
nga na,
God. Oh my
Benjun,
gosh,
kailan na
Benjun.
siya?
How do I even begin to
No,
explain
Benjun
CD?
is around 30. Kabo na na siya. Ano si CD?
Hala, reveal ang age.
You drop ka na age.
Yeah.
CD. What's the meaning sa CD?
Compact disc.
Compact disc.
Wow.
It's something na
Compact.
Then I think
And
after
disc
that is
compact.
the DVD. Is that
Yeah.
DVD.
correct?
Yeah. And
So
then-
anyway, you have to study history. History na yan for you to
theater,
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. But balik ta sa atong conversation.
yeah.
We're talking with our director, Vanessa Fe, and playwright Mavi or Maverick Avila
Or
of
either.
Ang Kawatan.
Tan.
Ang Kawatan is a play that will be staged this 27th and 28th of June at the Kabilin Center by Tutenkans Philippines. The Kabilin Center is actually right beside Casa
Casa
Gorordo.
Gorordo.
So I think mo nang ning sayon no pangitaon. So many of us I think have been to Casa
Yeah.
Gorordo.
Mhm.
Kung nganhi kasi po nag-eskwela, appeal na sa inyong kanang
Requirements,
field
yeah.
trip. And
Mhm.
if you've been a tourist once, kay wa pa ka nagpuyo nga rin before,
Mhm.
siguro ni anhira ka, I'm sure nga Casa Gorordo was one of the places you had to visit. It's like
yeah.
in, you know, that's part of our unsa man yan, kaning tourist bucket list Kana siya.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we hope to see you there. So we have prepared this play, Ang Kawatan. Na ipangutana. Na ba'y kawatan gyud ang play?
That's oh my god. Well, actually thinking sa
Kinsa
title. Wait, sa
ang
kinsa ka?
kawatan.
Yeah. Well, the title itself, it's again, I don't want to seem so like OA about it, no? Like as writer, you get to actually
Yeah.
do that, right? But it's more of like a confrontation. Again, I go back to confrontation a lot, like a lot, because it's the framework. Like
Is
mo siya-
that also like your go-to in terms of when you
Writing.
process, like
Yeah.
when you write and
Yes.
all? Okay.
That's a good question. I was also gonna say when Vanessa told us about her influences. For me, my influences was a lot of solitude, like a lot of like because I'm a child of the internet. I would say. My mom is an OFW. My dad is a small business owner for farm and aquaculture, and a lot of times I'm left alone to my own devices. So
Yes. Are you
I-
also an only child? No.
No,
Seems
the,
like-
the youngest.
But no, the youngest
Yes.
lang.
No, but like my kuya has a lifestyle of his own. He
Uh-huh.
travels a lot. But for me, I'm left to my own devices, watching like plays online on YouTube, and so those were like my influences. And I get to sit down with it a lot, and I think that's kind of like why first, for you to understand the whole general society that we're living in, you have to understand yourself. And that's kind of like always my process to confront myself. Like, why am I feeling this way? I have to say though, the title is more of like a confrontation of myself too, and it's a so
I
generally.
think most of the time, nga nagyan ng mga
Yeah,
writer, like,
it's- Yeah, but when you think about it, I have to be honest about here. Like, I feel like just the writing process, I would say. When you think about it, this is not my story actually. This is a story I found and a story I reimagined in a different
Yes.
format. In that way of questioning, where do I balance between telling the story and actually like not stealing from anything? Did I steal something as well?
Yeah.
So-
I think there's a fine line as well,
Yeah.
diba? How do you put the how do you say? How do
A
you make
line.
sure? Yeah, or
fine
where do
line.
you put the line
boundary.
between inspiration
Yeah.
and repurposing of a material?
Yeah.
You know, like for
Yeah,
example,
and reimagining. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, where is it still allowable?
Yeah. That's a good.
Kay, diba, we encounter stories all the time. And a play can start off with maybe a drinking session with a friend.
Exactly.
And that could be even the start of your play.
Yeah.
And like for me personally, my stories come from maybe a conversation or a word or just finding something happening and maybe imagining this conversation that's happening.
Yeah.
But then many of the stories is if you really listen to them, these are words
Yeah.
that are or conversations
Yeah.
that happen every single day. What allows you, the playwright, to own these conversations and make it as your play? So I actually understand how you feel about,
Yeah.
playing with that line.
Yeah.
How do we is it blurred and all? But for me, guys, because I'm familiar with the play now, that's how you feel.
Yeah.
But but you've done really well with writing this play, Ang Kawatan. And I really hope that people would watch and sit with with trying to really, for me, listen to what every person says and what they don't say at all. We listen, we find ourselves there, we identify who we are in the story, and then we make a decision. For me, mauna siya, siguro,
Yeah.
for the audience. You have to decide
Yeah.
what are you going to do with this experience, with the feelings that you
Yeah.
are trying to manage, with the words that you have. have heard with that experience from beginning to end, what are you going to do after you've left the theater?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And I feel that those are stories that are really powerful.
Yeah.
Mo nang, you have so many dagko nga productions and their Broadway productions. They're very popular, and they also have they have an effect on us, not because of the spectacle.
Yeah.
It's usually the story that's attached to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why for me personally, I'm making a conscious decision also when I'm producing with Tutin Cans, that the stories that we share should have meaning. We are making meaning.
Yeah, I
It's
love that.
not just spectacle can be done by anyone. I would
Yeah.
say it's easy,
Yeah.
but trying to create something that is supposed to shake someone,
Yeah.
something, or an entire culture, that's something else.
Yeah, and I would like to add, Miss M. Giingon, na it's really, this kind of power that we have as an actor, as a writer, as a director. We have this power, Jud, na to control what we want to say. It's and going back sa Ingon Mav na how do you actually, like, where do you draw the line of being
Yeah.
you and the experiences of other people, like how giunsa man yung pag-merge, and it
Kana yun.
always goes back to you, Jud, as a person, like your ethical, your values, your principles. That's why we as an artist, we are really responsible and accountable of the
Exactly.
things that we show to other people. And it's not something na kada bitong you just saying, oh yeah, I'm an artist. You actually have to show them, and then there na sila maka-describe nimo kung unsa ka nga pagka-artist. It's
Yeah.
not just about you describing yourself nga, okay, yeah, this mo ni ako nabuhat, tada 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 tada, but it's actually the people who get to watch it, who got to see your work,
Experience it,
to
yeah.
experience your work, who gets to tell nga, okay, you're a good writer because you took care of it. You're a good director because you really can bitong think of what other people would actually think about the situations. Wala ra nimo take it lightly. Those kind of things, miss. It always goes back to you as an artist, how accountable you are to your craft.
Yeah.
Ano.
And we say that, it's this is true to performers, but I think it's true to every role that we play in life. We're only as
Exactly.
good as our last performance. Kana siya nga line. I'm going to ask you, Vanessa, because this is your very first nga full-length production as a director. Ang Kawatan is your, you've chosen this.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's even going to, it's not haunt, maybe that's not the term, but it will be attached to you for
Yeah.
a very long time. Is there a pressure? Is there a pressure with, making sure that you are true to who you are as a human being more than just as a director when maybe in the next choices of
Yeah.
productions after ang Kawatan?
Yeah, this is my directorial debut, and as much as maybe for other people, miss, they get to be pressured a lot. I mean, na pressure man sad ko ingani, because of course, like, you produce this at Tutin Cans, like, they trust me. We have actors na, and then I have writer, I have my team. Basically, they are like looking up to me kung unsa akong vision. But at the same time, miss, like, I'm always reminding myself na this is actually an experience for me. Like, this is why Tutin Cans gave me this opportunity, like, from an actor to actually debut as a director, because it will give me much knowledge and it will help me become a better actor maybe. And in terms of vision, miss, being honest with it, I think me as a person, I'm always I'm always an honest person. And so I feel like it's natural for me also, miss, to apply it in my work, even like my main work. Like, I'm really honest with my work and in my craft and my creativity. I always try to be honest with myself, because I always believe, Miss, now when whatever you show, whatever
Yeah.
craft you show to other people, there's always gonna be some parts of you that's shown. Even if, for me as an actor, I get to act this different type of person. I can't say nga dili na ako. It has to come from my own emotion, from my own understanding of that character. It has to come from my own experiences. And now as a director, I try to also draw the line, Miss, of what I want and what what is the best for the play. I try to like navigate it with kana bitong objectivity, Miss, na my goal is not for me to be completely honest by myself, but it's for me to learn that whatever craft I'm presenting to other people, it's not gonna be about me. It's gonna be about the story in itself. It's gonna be about the material and what the audience will feel about it and will bring home when they get to watch it after. So kana siya, Miss. Being honest is part of it, but it's not everything.
It's good because, there's always that misconception that when you're a director or a producer, even an actor, no, that it's all about ego
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how it's about, oh, this is my work, it's always it's mine, it's
Yeah.
me. And people try to protect the me. And this time, your language is like protecting the story,
Yeah.
protecting the audience, protecting the lessons. And I find that really, it's like a mommy moment. It's like, yeah, okay, Vanessa has
Miss, kay mo ka, Miss,
grown.
wala gyud ko nag-expect nga ingani ako realization. Nagstorya namin ni Miss Char nga, oh my God, I never realized how much it takes to actually produce
She told
and
me that
stage.
earlier.
How much it takes to like present something. It's not easy. Now that I'm wearing the hat of a director, I get to see everything. I get to understand everything. Na sometimes na frustrate ko kung dili masabtan sa character or sa cast. And right now, like, oh my God, if I'm gonna play next time, I'm gonna be a better actor.
Aww.
Like, oh my God, like ako nang na-appreciate yun, like everyone behind the curtains, the writer, the SM, the PD, like karon, Miss, mas grabe na akong respect nila compared before nga murag okay lala mo presenter ko, but now like I have so much respect for them, and murag I have so much respect in my craft. And I would say like I'm always a serious actor magyud, but now I'm more intentional now with the things that I do, and I'm just so proud and I'm just so happy actually na I get to have this opportunity with the Tin Cans because it's something na I never expected na may akong ma-learn with this program.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
well,
Look
that
at
that's
you.
yeah, I would actually like yeah, standing ovation actually, diba? It's so nice also that you're able to express that, and I'm like I'm glad that we have this conversation. See, hapit na mag 2 hours, and that doesn't
That's
feel, no, wala pa. Don't worry.
Okay.
Hapit na. Well, if you have questions, for those of you who are listening, if you have questions you'd like to ask Mavi or Maverick, our playwright, or to Vanessa Fe, our director of Ang Kawatan, pangutana na. Nangutana na taganina kung naabay kawatan. Naabay kawatan. I think that's for you to find out.
Yeah.
So, you simply have to
Watch.
get your tickets and watch Ang Kawatan, written by Mavi Avila, directed by Vanessa Fe, featuring Lord Latonio, that's attorney Lord Latonio, Sheng Castaño Hemperoa, Shane Ayong, nag-ihap yun ko, making
Yeah,
sure
kasi
nga
sila.
sa to.
It's a lot of cast.
Dave Farrell, Judy Ralios, and Grant
Grant
Bacaltos.
Bacaltos.
So, watch at the Kabilin Center,
Center.
which is
Yeah.
right beside Casa Gordo.
Gordo.
That will be on the 27th and 28th of this month, June. No, hapit na. But you still have time to get your tickets. So go to Facebook or
Yeah.
Instagram.
Nari link.
Look for Two Tin Cans Philippines, and then naay link nga to sa ninyo pagpalit sa tickets. So that's Ang Kawatan,
Yeah.
written by Mavi Avila and directed by Vanessa Fe. This is under KULUKABILDO, a monthly theater series by Cans Philippines. So, grabe na ni atong conversation here because,
Yeah.
Ang Kawatan is not your typical play. It's an entire experience. And I'm actually
Yeah.
excited to experience that. But I'm really happy that I'm having this conversation with our playwright and director because, I get to have a front row of what they're doing, how this is happening, how this has come about. And again, there's not a very long history actually there, only 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
same for us because
Yeah.
I met these two kids.
Kids.
They
Very
were
young-
kids.
young-
Oh my God.
Oh, wait, Miss,
4
nag-usher
years
pa mi sa
ago.
inyong play ato.
Still Magnolia.
Oh
Still
my
Magnolia.
God. And you were still students.
Students
Yes.
pa mi ato.
Karon graduate na sila and having their own responsibilities. Mao ni. So, Mavi was then directing and Vanessa was acting in the very first Kulukabildo. And now, Vanessa is directing a play written by Mavi. And yet there are, siguro, murag, in a way, night time to prepare for this, but it can also feel short, diba?
Yeah.
Especially when it's a play that you are preparing with a collaborator,
Yeah.
and also it's going to be the very first time that it's going to be performed. Was there ever a time when you realize, or maybe during the writing process itself or the directing process, where you realized that this play was asking a bigger question than you initially intended?
Yeah, I think that's the reason, Miss, why we have been working on this for like, kay ba ka pila na ka months? Mo 5 months na.
Wow.
Yeah, like starting from the beginning, you'd miss with Mavi, like calling to him, nga, Mav, okay, we need to do this na. And up until like around May or April, dito pa jud siya na polish, Miss. Like imagine, like it took us 3 months
Yeah, a long
going
time.
back and forth with revisions kaya every time na ami okay realization nga okay Mav ganahan di ko ingan and then
Yeah.
siya na said Van I don't think daghan kayong back and forth and then
Yeah.
by the time nga nibasa ng akong mentor si Miss Charlene na nasad siya bagong output and like I was like
Yes.
yeah it makes sense ang giingon ni Miss Charlene okay we need to do this and then dagan kaayong it's really a flexible nga collaboration, Miss. That's why like oh my god it's such a blessing jud to have a writer nga like mo kada bit maminaw sa imuhang idea pud, Miss, no, kay if let's say kung close-minded kay si Mavi I feel like mo na ko lainaw ra niya.
Wasa yun mo siguro siya gikonta.
I feel like, yeah. But because I know na Mavi is the type of person who's very objective, creativity-wise. I also trust him as a friend, jud nga. Kanang mo guide siya nako all throughout this experience. And I'm just also very thankful also with my mentor, Miss Charlene, because I could really feel her guidance good all throughout this production actually like by kanabitong dili magud muhatag si Miss nga ingani mo buhaton she will just ask me like what do you want in this ano
Wow.
and then I would tell her and then she will support me and like thank you Miss Char love you
Oh,
That's so nice.
and I think that's why mentoring is important, no?
Important.
You have a
Yeah.
mentor because you feel supported as
Yeah.
well, and not kanang dictated upon
Yeah.
or
Exactly.
told in ana. And Mona, the asking questions is also very important in the process. It allows you also to know where you are in the
Yeah.
creative process. Are you able to answer questions? And if not, it also guides you nga, okay,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
something I have to answer pa.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, mo na usahay ka ng mo na tanga, mangutana gani ta, dili na pasabot nga sayop na dayon or anything. It's also a way of helping out in the creative process.
Yeah.
You know, it's really part of it. But yeah, so Charlene,
Shout out to Miss
Shout out to
so
Miss
Shirley.
you are the
Charlene.
first. Our
Mentee.
mentors, we have 4 mentors for KULUKABILDO. So that's Vincent Paul Diaz Gaton. Then we have Sheng. Pestaño Hemporoa, Charlene Virluve, and myself. So you are Charlene's first
Mentee.
mentee.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm really looking forward to watching ang
Excited
Kawatan.
about it.
And I'm really hoping that this is going to be a really successful play.
So,
I feel that it's going to be successful, but I also want to know how you see success. So, what does success look like for this production beyond ticket sales and applause?
well, I think it's too ambitious to say nga smooth siya and no chaos. That would be like a perfect answer nga, okay, successful ang show kay walay gubot and everything. But I'm also anticipating that because this is my first directorial debut, there's gonna be adjustments. There's gonna be like a learning curve to it nga okay, I thought ma-achieve din namo but dili di I have to be flexible about it. And for me, after the show, after the production, after the 3 shows, I get to say that it was a successful show. It was a successful debut for me. If I could see the audience maybe after the talk that they've actually learned something about it, that they've actually was touched about it, that they've actually get the message that I want. It's really not about kung smooth ba ang tanan pag ingress na mo sa set, ang ticket sale taas ba. It's maybe like that's part of the success, but what could really give me this, I'm so happy that this was a successful show, is when people get to actually understand and get to have this feeling of empathy towards the story, which is ang Kawatan. So that's it, Miss. That's my definition of success, which I hope that I get to, I hope that it will happen, and I'm just really hoping that it will be successful as the tickets.
I'm hopeful.
Oh, Ruth, yeah.
Yeah, and I really wish for you. You've done really hard work for this, and I love the fact that you have put your heart and soul into this one.
Mm-hmm.
And so for you, Mavi, as the playwright, what does success for this production mean? Or no, what does success look like for you?
Yeah, I as a playwright, I think looking at it at the reaction level from the audiences and the people around the play, it's really them making or telling their thoughts about it. Just that very single thing. I think that would be success in itself. The moment this story has been staged, I think that's already a success already. And so I have you guys to chance to thank you for, because it's rare enough for, I would say, a story as this, bold a story as this, to be told, right? And so I think that's success enough. It would be even more successful if people will talk about it more, because I
Yeah.
think it needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
I totally agree. It does. So, before we go to our final question, why don't you invite our listeners to experience ang Kawatan? Vanessa?
Hello, everyone. Unsay tawag sa inyo mga audience, Miss? Ka-TMCs?
Yes,
TMCs.
Oh,
TMCs.
ka-TMCs. Hello, ka-TMCs. I'm Vanessa, and I'm gonna debut my first ever play, Ang Kawatan, written by our playwright, Maverick Avila. I am inviting you to watch it this coming June 27 to 28 at the Kabilin Center, Cebu, right beside Casa Gorordo. Tickets are still available, and if you have nothing to do this coming June 27, 28, like, watch it. It's gonna be worth your time, and it is something that I'm proud of, and it is also something na Mavi is also proud about because he wrote it. But at the same time, I hope that it's something that we get to experience. And yeah, see you.
Yeah, and just to add to our TMC's audiences, being Vanessa's friend, I've witnessed her pour her heart for this, and it's an extremely. I'm the playwright here, and I would say a bit hands off from the production. I've seen her how hands-on she is and continuously to do so. So for our TMCs out there, it's really, I would say, it's gonna be exciting to witness what she's gonna put out for us.
And I'm so excited for both of you. I'm so excited for Ang Kawatan. Now, of course, I'm not going to let you go without asking the question around this, the question, of course, what the show is about. So, Mavi and Vanessa, what is up next for you?
Oh my God. Go on, Mav.
Up next, yes. I think that's good. I mean, that's always a good question for me because like I always kind of like look forward to the next thing.
Uh-huh.
You're always moving.
Yeah, I'm always moving.
doing.
But to question what's up next for me, well, a lot of writing still. A lot of writing. I'm still a journalist, first and foremost, a researcher. So a lot of writing, also a lot of production, and a lot of conceptualizing stories in the near future.
Okay.
What about you, Van?
I feel like for me, what's up next, I'm really looking forward for the next play for KULUKABILDO. I'm really hoping that I'm gonna be one of their actors. I hope they're gonna think of me because I don't know, like I wanna go back to acting. I think that's it. Yeah, after this
Oh.
production, I feel like I have this burning desire to like perform and to act, and I'm just excited. But before that, we have to stage on Kawatan first, so you gotta watch it, guys. This coming June 27 and 28.
And I think that's part of what's up next for us.
So thank you so much. That's Maverick, Mavi, Avila, and Vanessa Fez. So we've spent this afternoon talking about theater, but perhaps what we've really been talking about is responsibility, not in the sense of obligation, but in the sense of response. How do we respond to the world around us? How do we respond when we encounter injustice? How do we respond when we see suffering? How do we respond when a story challenges our assumptions? So theater cannot answer those questions for us. It never could. And perhaps it never should. The role of theater is not to think on our behalf. Its role is to invite us to think more deeply for ourselves. And there is a misconception that the value of a play lies in its ability to provide solutions. But solutions are often temporary. Questions endure. The right question can stay with us for years. The right question can transform how we see our neighbors, our communities, our institutions, even ourselves. So today we've heard about a play that engages with realities that many people encounter every day. Realities that are often discussed in statistics, policies, and headlines. Yet theater reminds us that behind every issue is a human being. Behind every debate is a life. Behind every social concern is a person with a name, a history, and a story. And that reminder matters because it is so difficult to ignore a statistic. It is much harder to ignore a person. And that is one of theater's greatest strengths. It restores humanity to conversations that can easily become statistic. It reminds us that social issues are not distant concepts. They are lived experiences. They belong to people we know, people we love, people we may not yet understand. The theater cannot eliminate poverty. It can eradicate corruption. It cannot end inequality. It cannot repair every fracture in society. But theater can do something remarkably important. It can make indifference more difficult. It can make silence more uncomfortable. It can make empathy more possible. And while that may seem small, history suggests otherwise. Empathy changes conversations, and conversations change communities. Communities change societies. Every meaningful transformation begins with people willing to see one another differently. And that is why stories matter. not because they tell us what to think, but because they expand our capacity to think, feel, and imagine. When audiences leave a theater, they carry more than a ticket stub. They carry questions, they carry emotions, they carry perspectives they may not have encountered before. Sometimes those things fade, and sometimes they linger, and occasionally they become catalysts. A conversation with a friend, a change in attitude, a renewed commitment, a decision to become involved, a choice to pay closer attention, a determination to act. The artist's work is to offer the story, and what happens next belongs to all of us. And perhaps that is why programs like this must go on, because they tell audiences what a play means. Or not just that, they invite us into the larger conversation surrounding the work, a conversation that does not end when the performance ends. They're conversations that continue wherever people gather to ask difficult questions and imagine better possibilities. So today, Vanessa Fe and Mavi Avila shared not only their creative process, but also the ideas, concerns, and hopes that gave rise to Ang Kawatan. For that, we thank them. And for those watching, whether you're an artist, an audience member, a student, a teacher, or simply someone curious about the world around you, we thank you as well. This has been Up Next. I'm Sarah Henderson. Thank you for joining us.